Babes, and welcome to my book nook.
We are monsters. We give and we take.
For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy. I read all different types of books from all different sorts of genres, so if you're interested in that, like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. And in today's video, we are doing my April TBR, where I'm going to be playing my lovely TBR game, the one with the TBR, inspired by the show Friends, because I'm very much Friends obsessed, and so I'm not going to really explain too much how this game works. If you want to see, then please watch the playlist down below, although I recommend probably watching the newest one, because this game has evolved over time, because I am a mood reader, and I've been trying to make a mood reader fun, but I also wanted prompts, and so the way that we do it now is pretty much standard. I do 6 rolls, and these are all categorized by like different types of genres, and then I also pull out a prompt and see if I can make it match and make it work. And if I skip a prompt because I don't want to do it, then I have to add an additional roll, and then I do Friends trivia at the end to see if I get a nightmare prompt or some sort of additional prompt on the end. I will say that this thing it kind of needs some TLC. It's a little dinged up and dirty, and so this is probably going to be the last time you're going to see this board. And then I'll probably end up fixing this in the summer, so you'll probably see this board 2 more times. But with that being said, let's just go over this really quick as we remember. So as we have it over here, we have Fears and Pet Peeves, which is actually new to me authors, Ancient History, which is authors I've read from before, Literature, which is series, and It's All Relative, which is like books that I need to read that like actually need to fit into a video, or books that are like anticipated reads, or books that are like TikTok popular, just like anything like that. I also tried to make it a little fun and have it done by genre. And so for example, if I roll different colors, then that means they're different genres. So for example, orange is historical fiction, literary fiction, green is thrillers, blue is fantasy, pink is romance, yellow is wild, meaning I get to choose. So we're going to see in March, I was blessed very well with my TBR, which means that April is, of course, going to go to crap. But luckily, I'm not doing any major readathons except for Jess's from the Hex Libraries readathon. And it's very, very, very chill. So I think I can be okay with that. And I'm doing Scatagorathon for Bree's Patreon. Like, I'm doing simple things, which I will link anything that I'm doing underneath here. But with that, let's talk really quick about how March went. So the first book I was supposed to read was A Little Life by Hana Yanagihara. And I'm buddy reading this with Coda. And I am still reading it. I'm like 350 pages in out of 800. However, we decided we weren't going to read it all in a month. We wanted to read it as we felt led to, because we were enjoying this book, but it's like really dense. It's a hard subject, and we didn't want to feel like we were being rushed to read this. So it's probably going to take us, honestly, another month to finish it. So I'm going to say that's a success because we are actually reading that. And then Feybound, I actually started and got 5% in, and then had to read other stuff for Ramadan and then forgot about it. But I am going to roll that one over to next month, so I will be reading Feybound in April, so I won't count it as a success, but like, I did technically start it. Spark of the Everflame, at the time that I am filming this video, I'm 50% in. I have 2 days left in the month. I will finish that because I'm reading it for Tori's Who Did This To You book club, so I call that a success. I did read Never by Jessa Hastings, and it was a 1 star, and I have a really big rant vlog on that, so if you're interested in that, I'll link underneath here as well. Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark, I once again didn't read, and I really need to prioritize this series, so I'm going to roll that over next month as well. That is going to be the month that I get to Bloody Heart. Crown of Midnight was moved to next month because Kelsey was behind in Throne of Glass, and we are buddy reading that, me, Neva, and Kelsey, so that's not really on me. I had to wait for my friend Kelsey, so I'm okay there. Swordcatcher didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. That's the answer you get. A Fadington Blood happened. That was in my Never vlog as well. I loved this book. 5 stars. Probably a favorite of the year. I'm so very glad that I read that. Blood and Steel did not happen because I heard from the author that you should read Shifting or Slaying the Shadow Prince first before you read that. And I ordered it on Amazon, and because it was an indie published book, it took 2 weeks to get here. Like, what even is that garbage? Like, they had to print it on demand for me to buy. So it just didn't get here in time. And then Ripe, I was supposed to read for Ramadan, and because it had a red cover, and I was going to do a Jan vlog, and that just didn't happen. Life happens, okay? But I'm it was also because I wasn't as sure of my content in March, and I'm like very much like ready to go for April and May, so like it's going to be different. And then The Fury, I actually read 2 days ago, read it in like 1 to 2 sittings, had a fabulous time with it, gave it a 4 stars. It was a great, lovely time. So overall, would say I did pretty good. I read more of these than I usually do. So like, you know what? Pat on the back for Rainy. Pat on the back for Rainy. Even give me some snaps, okay? So I really did outdo myself. And then I did have books for other clubs, which I talked about. The second page is with Rise of the Cinderfae, and I decided not to read it yet because I'm getting a special edition and I wanted to read the special edition. I did read, or I'm reading, Spark of the Everflame for Tori's book club, like I said. And then I did read Darker Shades of Magic #1 with Danny and Katie for our buddy read, and we are continuing on in May with book #2, so I'm excited for that. And then I didn't get to read Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight because I'm waiting for Kelsey, and then I am reading A Little Life. So, overall, I would say that March was fairly successful, and I'm really scared of what April is going to bring upon us. So without any further ado, let's get to rule number 1. Okay, so blue, it's Fears and Pet Peeves 28 is right here, and that is under fantasy. So I have to read a new to me fantasy author, which is very exciting, but I also have to pick a prompt. And like I said, these are all different colors. They don't mean anything. So let's see if I can show you first. Shuffle your music and choose a book based off the song. Oh dear God. What does that mean? Does it mean a lyric? Does it mean a title? Okay, what are we going to go with? Let's go with 2024 jams because I have a lot of those. And we're going to press shuffle. And here we go. Okay, so I got Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, which the song is literally about not wanting to lose beautiful things that you've got in your life, like a girl, the life you're living, all of this stuff. So I could just interpret it as a beautiful book, right? Don't lose these beautiful things that I've got, which I'm going to do, and I know the book just for that, and it is a required read, so Lord bless, let me go get it. So I am very excited to put this on the TBR. I'm going to be reading The Crimson Moth, otherwise known as Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. That's it's Heartless Hunter in the US and it's Crimson Moth in the UK, which I don't get why, but this is the Fairy Loot edition, and like, I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Let me show you, like, it's just, look at that. Like, there are no words for like this beauty. I'm so excited to read this. But it is a YA fantasy. It's by a new to me author. I don't know a lot about it. I'll say what it says on the back. She was the Crimson Moth, a wanted criminal, not to mention a witch, hiding in plain sight, but this wouldn't be the first time she walked into a space full of the people who hunted her kind. She'd done it hundreds of times before without batting an eye, so why was there a tiny seed of fear sprouting inside her? I have heard mixed things on this. Mostly have heard fabulous things. And then, you know, there's the one or two people that are like, no, like this book actually sucked. Like my friend Katie said, this was a book and I read it. And so I actually need to talk to her and hear her thoughts on this. But this was on Tori's Who Did This To You book club. At this point, the poll hasn't closed yet, but this is like winning by like a landslide. So like we're going to be reading this for April. So I'm glad I was able to get this as a beautiful thing that I've got. All right, on to roll number 2. So 19 is under It's All Relative, which would mean like either TikTok or an anticipated read or a book that I absolutely need to get to in a vlog. And it's a 19, which is yellow, which is wild. So I can pick any book that I need to read. But it is a wild, so it could go well. All right, let's show it to you first. Oh God, it looks like a long one. Read a book that has a word in the title that matches a word in a Taylor Swift song. What even prompts did I give myself? It might be a stretch because she technically has a song called The One, and this has ones in the title, but I'm sorry, I'm going with it because I really need to put this onto my TBR. And so that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. Not gonna lie, I had seen this book millions of times in Books A Million, and I just walked past it because it's a YA fantasy, and like, unless I really know a YA author already, I'm not typically gonna pick that up because like, that's just not really my thing. But I need to read this one. It does have a beautiful cover though. So I am very excited for this. I don't really know what this is actually about. I'm going to do a brief little spiel. It says 16-year-old Deka lives in fear and anticipation of a blood ceremony that will determine whether she becomes a member of her village. She prays for red blood so she can feel like she belongs. But on the day of the ceremony, her blood runs gold, the color of impurity, which is not good. A mysterious woman comes to her with a choice: stay in the village and submit to her fate, or leave to fight for the emperor and an army of girls just like her, which are near immortals with rare gifts. Knowing the dangers that lie ahead, she wants to leave the only life she's ever known, but as she journeys to the capital to train for the biggest battle of her life, she discovers the Great Walled City holds many surprises. So, that sounds very intriguing. I'm very excited. But also, this book is 450 pages. So, like, and I think it's a trilogy. So hopefully it goes really well, and then I'm going to want to read the rest of them, right? I love the quote on the back. Are we girls? Are we demons? Are we going to die? Or are we going to survive? I don't know, girly. You tell me. Okay, so 49 is under ancient history, which means it has to be an author that I've read from before. And once again, it's a yellow, which means it's a wild. Let's hope that the prompt gods bless me so. Oh my gosh, they're all long. Like, what even is this prompt? Read the book that's got the highest average rating in your TBR on Goodreads. One that isn't a new release. Wow, I was very specific with these. Like, where did these even come from? I can't remember. However, last month, we had to read a romance that was the lowest rated, and that's when we read Never. So hopefully, this should be the opposite. So I'm going to grab my phone, and luckily, and it's not a new release. Like, what's considered new? I guess I would put if it came out in 2023 or 2024. Okay, so let me get my Goodreads screen recording so that we can go to home. And we're just gonna, we're gonna go to my physical TBR, little shelf that I made, because that way we're reading from my shelf, because Rainy needs to do that. And then we're gonna rank them by rating. So let's do average rating, and we're gonna read the highest rated one that is not a new release. Unless it's in a series and it's like in the middle, which is why I'm saying that, because Words of Radiance is the first one, and I'm not reading Brandy Sandy's book number 2, and I'm not reading Kingdom of Ash next month. Oh my gosh. That worked out better than that ever could have worked out. I'm reading A Court of Mist and Fury, which I actually need to read A Court of Mist and Fury. And I can't tell you why I need to read it, but that is actually on my TBR. Oh my gosh. This could not have worked better. I'm reading Akamath by SJM. It's time. I've read ACOTAR twice, and I never continued on from that. And I gave it a 5 stars the first time I read it, gave it a 4-star the second time. But everyone says you need to continue on to Akamath, and it is time. I can't believe that worked out that well. I can't believe that I done did that to myself so well. This is a fabulous TBR. Bravo! All right, on to roll 4. Okay, so 46 is also from ancient history, so it has to be another author that I've read from before, and it is an orange, which means it's a historical fiction or literary fiction, and that did not go well for me the other time, because I had to read Cleopatra and Frankenstein, and I didn't like it. I'm scared, guys, I'm scared. All right, here we go. Oh gosh, okay, I don't even want to look. Read the longest book of the month book that you have owned for longer than 18 months. Honestly, I don't know how long I've owned these books. Like, I don't keep track of that. So I'm just going to pick the longest book of the month book that I own that is either historical fiction or literary fiction. And I'll be right back. Unfortunately, we're going to have to add another roll to this TBR, and we're going to have to read 7 books, because the longest historical fiction or literary fiction book that I have on my shelves, and I knew which one it was immediately, is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. And I have no desire to read this right now. I don't. In fact, I bought this at a time before I realized that this was not going to be a book that I really care for. And I don't want to say that this is a bad book. And so I'm not going to read this, even though I should. But I'm not going to. And should I get rid of this? Yes. But I can't, because technically it's on the TBR for a vlog that has been in the archives for a while. So I am going to need to read this eventually, but I'm not going to make myself do it right now. So we're going to have 7 rolls. That's fine. So let's try again for roll number 4. So 30 is, it's all relative, which means that it once again has to be like either a TikTok book or an anticipated read or a book that I need to prioritize in a vlog. And it is an orange again, which means I'm going to have to read a historical fiction or literary fiction. And honestly, I don't know that many that I want to read that I need to read, but you know what? We'll see whatever the prompts give me. All right, this is like a little one, so we might be okay on this one. Read a book with non-human characters. Is that even possible in historical fiction or literary fiction? I'm going to say that we're not skipping this prompt. We're putting it back in, because I don't think I can do that, and I don't want to spend the time thinking and thinking and thinking on that, because I literally can't think of a book where it would have non-human characters. Definitely not a historical fiction. And I don't even own that. Oh. Wait a minute. Never mind, never mind, never mind. I have a book. I have a book. I have a book. Here we go. I actually have a bookmark in this book still, which means I probably should just take the bookmark out and start over because I don't remember what I read and I was only like 20% in. Shark Heart by Emily Habbock, because that's literary fiction. This is, I mean, it's literally like, honestly, it's probably more magical realism, but you know what it is. It is about a girl, or it's about a couple named Lewis and Wren, and they basically, in this world, you can get a disease, and the disease ends up slowly turning you into an animal. And so in this book, I'm pretty sure they're a newly married couple, and her husband is turning into a great white shark. And so they have to deal with him turning into that. And so those are non-human characters. And I actually have this on my currently reading still, so I need to finish this book, so we're going to finish it this month. There you freaking go. All right, moving on to rule number 5. So 45 is fears and pet peeves, which means it has to be a new to me author, and it is orange again. Why? Why are we doing this to me? Why are we doing this to me? Why are we doing this to me? I have to do another historical fiction or literary fiction. I'm going to murder this board. I'm gonna murder you. I'm gonna murder you. I'm gonna murder this board. Backlist book. Okay. I can work with that. You know what? I have a really funny one that I should put on the TBR, but I don't know if I'm going to. So let me like look around and then we might circle around back to that funny one. I actually have one that I need to read for a vlog. So it worked out. It worked out, friends. It worked out. And it is a backlist book, okay? It is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, which I'm very excited to read. I've been wanting to read this for a hot minute. I've heard that it is very, very beautiful. It'll be my first Olivia Blake experience, so I'm excited for that. But this one just says, in Chicago, 2 people meet in the Art Institute by chance. Prior to their encounter, he's a doctoral student who manages his destructive thoughts with compulsive calculations about time travel, and she is a bipolar counterfeit artist undergoing court-ordered psychotherapy. By the end of the story, these things will still be true, but this is not a story about endings. Interesting. Could 6 conversations with a stranger be the variable that shakes up the entire simulation of their lives? That sounds intriguing. I am very excited for this read. On to rule 6. Okay, 47 is ancient history, which means it's an author that I've read from before, and it's pink, which means it's a romance. And there is a romance I need to read this month, but unfortunately it's a new author, so that didn't work out that well. But it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It might not have worked out anyway, depending on the prompt, you know, so let's see what we got. Friend picks. Oh, okay. Well, that's not good. Okay. Please hold. Okay, so I asked the besties and basically said, I need a book recommendation. It has to be a romance from an author that I've read from before. And I kind of hope that someone responds, a specific someone responds first, because I have a feeling I know what she's going to say. And I really hope that I get to read that book, because I've been wanting an excuse to read it. But I'm going to have to insert a clip later once I actually get that recommendation. So that'll happen. But for now, I'm going to say we're moving on to rule number 7. Okay, so 16 is ancient history, which is from an author I've read from before. And this time it's green, which means it has to be a thriller or horror. So I did get a little bit, dip my toe back into that era by reading The Fury. And I had a fabulous time with it. I think that was like the perfect popcorn thriller to like get me back into the mojo. So like hopefully this prompt helps as well. Book with a map? What thriller book has a map? What? Does that book have a map? I don't know. Let me check one book in particular, and if not, then I'm going to put it back because I don't foresee a thriller horror having a map. The book I was thinking of did not have a map, so we're going to put that back, and we're going to try again. Okay, here we go. Read a book published on my birthday? What even? Why? Okay, let's start with books published July 12th, 2023. Let's start there. Most popular. Does it have to be on my actual birthday? I feel like that's going to be insanely hard. You know what? We're going to go with birth month. because that's just too hard. So let's look at July 2023 and see what we got. But I want it to be on my physical TBR. Like, these are all books, but like, they're not. Honestly, I'm not going to read a book that's not on my physical TBR, which means that if I end up not picking this, then we're going to have to do another prompt, another roll, and I don't really want to do that. So I better find a book that I can read that I own. Dang it, I already read Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. That was one of them. And I already read Things We Do in the Dark. Oh, that's so sad. And I own both of those books. This is not going well. Books published in July. Come on, friends. Help a sister out here. Popular July release books. Let's just look at that and see if anything comes up. Well, Reckless by Lauren Roberts is coming out this month. And Liz Tomford's new book is coming out this month. Are these all books that come out in July of this year? No, that is not helpful. 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 Wait. I think I just saw one. Oh, yes! Okay. We're gonna go with this. So I actually borrowed this from the library, and I needed an excuse to read it outside of a specific vlog that I had an idea for, but I guess we're gonna read it now because it came out in July. And that is The Center by Aisha Manazir Siddiqui. Sure, that's what it is. This one says it's about Anissa, who dreams of being a translator of great works of literature, but mostly spends her days subtitling Bollywood movies in her London apartment and living off her parents' generous allowance. When Adam learns to speak Urdu practically overnight, she forces him to reveal his secret. He begrudgingly tells her about the Center, an elite invite-only program that guarantees complete fluency in any language in 10 days. Stripped of her belongings and all contact with the outside world, she undergoes their rigorous processes, but as she enmeshes herself further within the organization, seduced by all that's made possible, she realizes the true cost of its services. That sounds really intriguing. I've heard this is like hit or miss, and I'm very excited to see whether I like it or not, but I'm excited to finally get on the TBR. I just realized after filming that it had to be an author that I've read from before. However, there were none that I had found, and I was scrolling for like 10 minutes after that looking for a book. And so I'm allowing myself to make it be a book from an author that I don't know, because you know what? It's my freaking TBR game, and I'm not going to punish myself and make myself add another roll when I literally have a book on my shelf that is from July. Okay? So we're gonna just rock and roll with it anyway. On to Friends Lightning Challenge. So I thought I was filming. Was not. We're gonna do that again, and we're gonna re-screen record, and we're gonna answer the same questions because you know what? I feel like that's only fair, and so we're just gonna go for it. 3, 2, 1, here we go. What toy does Ben play with that disturbs Ross? Don't know. Joey appears in an infomercial for what product? In orange juice opener thingamajigger. I don't know what that's called. What was the name of the Dutch girl Joey and Chandler tried to impress during a game of touch football? I feel like it was like Malva or Malda or Donya. I don't know. During a touch football game, who flashes their boobs? Phoebe. I know that. Who's been harboring a secret crush on Rachel for 9 seasons? Joey? I think. No. Isn't it Gunther? Okay. I think I'm going to go with Gunther. But I don't know if it's really secret. Okay. Let's see if we got it right. A Barbie doll? A Milk Master 2000. It was the orange juice spigot though. But I guess we can't count that. Okay. Marga, Phoebe, and Gunther. Well, that's unfortunate because I only got 2 right, which means I have to roll. Again, roll for an extra special lightning prompt. Well, as you saw, I got a green, which means I must add a spin. So we're going to add 8 books to the TBR. So here's our final roll. So we got 35, which is in series. We actually didn't get any in series as of yet. And it has to be, of course, historical fiction or literary fiction, which probably is not going to work, which just means instead that I'm going to probably re-roll in a minute, or actually no, I'll still stick to series, but I'll probably just get as close as I can to that. But I can't think of very many historical and literary fiction series that I own that will also fit a prompt. Like I'm just throwing it out there. And so if not, then I guess we'll re-roll, whatever. All right, I grabbed 2, so we'll go with this one. Read a book your mom picks for you. Good Lord. Good. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to have to give my mom books to pick from that work, that are in a series. And I don't, like I said, I don't know if I have any. Alright, I'm gonna still let my mom pick a book. But I'm gonna do this by probably FaceTiming her and just letting her pick any book that works as part of the series. So, I'm gonna call my mom and we'll be right back.
Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Well, I already read that.
Okay.
But no, it's fine. Well, I guess it's...
I know which one. I know which one.
Oh, okay, I was already gonna say I would have just read the book number 2 in that, but what were you gonna say?
Read Iron Flame.
Oh, shit. Man, you had... Okay, because I was going to be like, oh, I can read the second one because I need to read... No, we're going with Iron Flame because otherwise I'm never going to read it. Alright, I'm reading Iron Flame. Okay, thanks, Mom. My mom did me dirty with this pick. She did me so dirty. She said, read Iron Flame. Iron Flame. Iron Flame, which is 622 pages. Am I against reading this? No. Did I love Fourth Wing? Yes. Have I heard good things about this one? No. Do I have time to devote to a 622 page book right now? No. Did she pick this because Onyx Storm was just announced and was on her mind? Yes. So, thank you, Mom. Thank you for that. So, excluding Akamath, because I don't have that with me currently, this is my stack, and it's chonky, friends. It's chonky because of the Crimson Moth and Iron Flame. Iron Flame, friends. So let's talk about the other books that are going to be on my TBR. Well, of course, we already have A Little Life by Hanyu Yanagihara, because I'm reading that, obviously, for a buddy read with Coda, so that's still on my TBR. And I pushed Feybound over to my TBR. And I pushed Bloody Heart over to my TBR. So that's another 3 books as well. And then outside of that, there are other books that I have to read for vlogs, so I'm just going to talk to you about them now. I won't tell you all of them, but I'll tell you like maybe 1 or 2 just to give you a little sneak peek, like maybe a book from each vlog that I'm planning. So for one of my vlogs, I'm reading The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland, which I absolutely am excited to get to because I loved House of Hollow so much, and I do have the Barnes & Noble Special Sprayed Edges edition. It's rose gold, and so I'm very excited. I've heard fabulous things and not so fabulous things about this book, but you know what? I'll find out for myself. I just know that it's about 3 girls with 1 supernatural killer on the loose, and I don't really need to go into it with more than that. Another book that I'm reading for a vlog in April is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and I'm not going to tell you what the vlog is, but I am excited to finally get to the series so I can decide whether it's for me or not. And Good Rainy only bought the first book and didn't buy all of them. But this one is about 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. So you know what? I'm excited to get to this series at last. And then I have 1 more vlog, however I don't know what books I'm reading for that because I'm doing Instagram controls my reads for the week, so I'm just gonna not be able to pick one for that. So I'll tell you about book clubs that I'm doing. I am participating in Who Did This To You book club with Tourette. Their book is The Crimson Moth or The Heartless Hunter, which I already got onto my TBR, so that was actually very successful. And then I'm also in Prosecco and Paige's book club. Those are the 2 book clubs that I always do because they are actually fantasy romance, and so they're books that I want to read, and so I need to look at the name of the book that we are reading for Prosecco and Pages. We are reading Long Live, which is the first book in the Elementals of Iona by V.B. Lacey. And what I like about this book club is I always read from newly published indie authors. So this one's fairly new. And this one says it's about Isla Belthar lives an ordinary life in her small village of Lockhart. Since losing her mom and the man she loved 2 years ago, all she wants is stability and peace, but her world is forever changed when her family is attacked on a journey away from home and she must travel to the Ataran mountain range to find them. And then there's a lot more. I'm not going to read it all, but that's the main beginning of the book. So anyway, I'm excited, and it has pretty good ratings so far. It has a 4.26 so far. So, you know what? I'm excited to read that. And then for Brittany's Patreon book club, because I do actually want to read this and I got it from the library in the audiobook, I'm going to be reading At First Spite by Olivia Dade, which I'm very excited about because I've never read an Olivia Dade before, and I am excited. I also get to check off reading a book with a plus-sized FMC for Bookemon. And this one, I'm pretty sure, is about a girl named Athena. Her fiancé ends their engagement and she has no choice but to move into the Spite house that she bought as a wedding gift, which is a problem because the house originally built as a break middle finger to the neighbors is only 10 feet wide. Her ex's home is attached to hers, and Dr. Matthew Vine, the jerk who convinced his younger brother Johnny to leave her, lives on her other side, and I think she ends up falling in love with the jerk brother, I'm pretty sure. But I heard that this has fabulous anxiety representation and that it is just a beautiful, beautiful book, and so I'm excited to see what Miss Olivia Dade can do in a romance. There are 2 more books that I need to put on here because I'm buddy reading them, so they're gonna happen. The first one is Crown of Midnight with Kelsey and Neva. I'm reading that in the first week of April. I'm also reading in the first week of April A Fate of Wrath and Flame, the first book in a fantasy series with Katie. So you know what? I have so many books that I have to read, and I already know I'm not going to get to them all, but we're going to try our darndest. We're going to try our darndest. And with that, that is my April TBR. So if you got to the end of this video, let's leave a skull emoji for Kingdom of the Wicked, because that is the book that I'm staring at right now and has a skull on it. And let me know a book that you are going to be reading for April. And so I want to hear different books that are on your TBR. And with that, I will see you guys in a video very soon.